Harvey's Curbside to Go means you can experience quality anywhere. Call in and pick it up on your way home without leaving your car. No cooking, no cleaning, just dinner. Harvey's, a difference you can taste.
At First Choice Bank, we know you can't always make it before the bank closes. With our integrated teller, you can talk to a live person as late as 7 p.m. on weekdays and noon on Saturdays. It's not just an ATM, it's an ITM. First Choice Bank, your choice for banking.
Mississippi's trusted weather experts. This is Mississippi Live Weather This Morning.
Well, good evening, or good morning, and whatever time of day it is. It'll take me a while to get used to that. I'm Chief Meteorologist Matt Lopon, and you're watching Mississippi Live Weather This Morning, your trusted weather source for weather information, regardless of whether my brain is on or it's our meteorologist, Maggye McCauley, who usually is with us at this time of the day. Part of the reason why my phone goes up with alerts right now. And if you would like to join us here, we're glad to have you here this morning. One of the things, again, we're working on as we progress throughout your morning is Melissa, looking at the latest on this major hurricane, still 175 mile per hour sustained winds. That's just as top notch as one of these gets, unfortunately. Major issues there for Jamaica, for parts of Cuba, and the Dominican Republic on this major storm. We'll look at the latest on Melissa coming up here in a couple minutes. Rain impacts your Tuesday. We're going to have showers moving in. Don't have anything out there right now. We're dry for your morning commute. It's the evening commute that we start to have issues. Some of those linger again into your Wednesday. We'll have the very latest on the timing of that and how much rainfall you could see. And we're looking a lot cooler by Halloween. If you're planning on, dressing those kids in anything that's not warm, they're probably going to reject that somewhat. It's not going to be ice cold, but it's definitely not warm. And so be planning ahead accordingly there. As we look at our first 12 forecast for today, though, 53, that 7 a.m. temperature. We're 60, as you can see, by 10 a.m. Mid 60s on the way by midday. And then probably middle to upper 60s, all we make it to. That rain coverage increasing. That's part of what kind of stunts that increase in temperatures there. Our winds south and east, but those will start shifting back to the north and west behind our next front. That's going to bring with it some cooler temperatures that slide and slip on into the area. Roadways are damp this morning, and the room-to-room weather center, we're looking at cloud cover, but still, as I can see closer to the ground, decent visibility. This is our camera out there in Aberdeen. Again, appreciate the North Mississippi Storm Chasers for allowing us to utilize these cameras there. As we look back there out of the Aberdeen area in general, though, it's cloudy, but no precipitation falling from that. You can also see kind of in the corner here of Mississippi Live Weather Radar. We do try to kind of inlay that on some of these various cameras. As we look outside right now in Cleveland, again, we have that cloud cover. Yeah, I actually had less visibility in Cleveland even about 10 minutes ago versus what we have out there right now. And West Point, that is one of those cases where we don't have much in the way of visibility, showing up completely murky and clouded in at this point here. If you give me just a second, I'll see if I can pull up our log in there with the North Mississippi Storm Chasers to see if we can actually look closer at this camera. I want to see if I can get it into any exact angle here on the visibility. So just a second, I'm going to tilt this thing down a little bit, see if maybe it's slightly more visible there. And then there's not a lot to see, at least from that camera location. There's a little bit, but that tells you that from time to time with that humidity high, there's probably some patches of fog out there where we can't really see a whole lot at this point in time. As we bring it back in here and check out again that visibility, you can see definitely some patches out there. This doesn't really show anything where we're down there below a mile. Certainly slightly more limited visibility, a few locations there. Cleveland showing up about 0.8 of a mile, so a sign that that camera we were looking at a minute ago there was a little lower, slightly earlier on. But yeah, in general, the humidity remains high, so I do think that there are some patches of fog out there for this morning, so just at least keep that in mind. When that number is close to 100%, sometimes that fog, well, certainly that we reach that saturation point where the temperature and dew point are the same, that's when fog is most likely to be forming. We're 57 right now there in Tupelo, 55 degrees in Amory. It's 58 at this instant. Good morning to you in Columbus, and Macon coming in 58 as well as New Albany at this time. Big weather story remains the tropics, remains Melissa. This is Melissa. This is a latest live look at that system, and it is rough, and maybe that's the understatement. I'm going to leave this as a 1 hour loop here, and you can see just how quickly that is rotating around the center of this system. It is just a very powerful, very well-defined eye. And when you start looking at some of the darker colors there, you can see where the biggest impacts are from this. The eye itself, as we'll bring it back into the latest scan here on that, is about 22 miles wide. But you start looking again, that eye wall where we have the most significant impacts, we're looking about 60 to 70 miles there. Estimations at this point from the National Hurricane Center at their 5 a.m. Eastern update, so it'll be 4 o'clock central update, 175 mile per hour sustained winds on this system. Just an absolute beast there. Infrastructure, power damage. I know a lot of interest there, a lot of prayers going out for the folks there in Jamaica with this system. It's just, it's rough. Well, you can see kind of at the top of your screen there, that is Cuba. And obviously there are going to be major impacts there, both in Jamaica and Cuba. Rainfall amounts could exceed 2 feet to nearly 3 feet of rainfall. So mudslides, power outages for weeks. There's going to be a lot of issues there, unfortunately. Obviously, that dominates the forecast on kind of even the wider scale here. If I just show some of the northern clouds of this, let's see if I can get the north to south on this for a moment. I just track that. The northern extent of some of those clouds, well, come on. It's not wanting to let me measure it there. We'll look at that here in a minute. See if I can measure it on the next graphic here. Well, that's going to come up here and show our satellite and stuff a little bit closer. You can see those clouds back out there toward Oklahoma. That is what is moving generally toward us and was going to have more of an impact on our weather, which is some rainfall. It's also kind of attached to what we're depicting as a trough here. I could loosely argue is some cooler air coming toward us, but this system is going to bring us rainfall. That's going to knock temperatures back, and the air behind it is a little bit cooler, so that combination kind of making an impact there. In fact, looking at some of those cooler temperatures behind this here, you can kind of see how, yeah, it is coolest behind the front itself, but you don't have to go that far behind. We see some of those blues showing up there. I mean, come on, those are morning temperatures, mid-30s, and I expect we could be talking about some 30s for morning temperatures by later on this week. So here's a look at Futurecast. As you can see, those rain chances mainly back to the north and west of us as we progress throughout this morning. This kind of big shield of rainfall moving our direction, and that's going to be what impacts us as we go into this afternoon. As you can see moving in, where you see the red, the heavier rainfall, the heavier storms, whatever, that's still back out there toward Texas. Honestly, I don't expect that to be an impact for us really at all. As you can see back into Louisiana for tonight, and then that gradually working its way down there towards South Mississippi. One of a number of things we'll look at, Mississippi Live Weather Radar, but also those severe weather threats come up here in a couple of minutes. Not expected to be something of major significance for us. Over the next 24 hours from this morning, as you can see, we're 57, we're 64 by noon. High temperatures, mid-60s. Rain coverage does remain fairly high as we progress throughout the overnight period, up around 50% or so, even through 9 p.m. And then, yeah, look at that. We're upper 40s by the first part of tomorrow morning. That is not exactly a warm way to begin your Wednesday. Coming up here in 60 seconds, of course, looking ahead at some of those lows for tomorrow and looking towards some chillier days ahead. That's coming up in 60 seconds as Mississippi Live Weather continues here from the Room to Room Weather Center this morning. Good morning to you. We'll look at some of your comments and see who all's talking with us this morning coming up here in a couple minutes.
You're not going to get it all right. Just make sure you nail the big stuff.
Mama!
Like making sure your kids are in the right seat for their age and size. Get it right at nhtsa.gov/the right seat.
A lethal dose is in here. Who gets it, I won't know.
Scary that it can be put into anything, and we can't even see it or notice it.
March 24th, 2023 was a normal Friday. You know, we knew the weather was not good, but we needed to take shelter, and we didn't have shelter. My husband and almost 2-year-old daughter, Ethan and Riley, they did lose their lives in the storm. We're still recovering from it. We'll always be recovering from it. Matt Lawpon cares about the community. He's not just there to collect a paycheck. I feel like Matt Lawpon has proven himself trustworthy.
Right now, from the Room to Room Weather Center, here's Mississippi's Chief Meteorologist, Matt Lawpon.
Well, good morning in Caledonia. Looks like I brought up the wrong one of these. because I'm going to have to get my stuff figured out here. And boom, we've gone from green screen back over here to Caledonia right now. Good morning to you in Caledonia. Hopefully you're having a great day joining us here on Mississippi Live Weather this morning as I'm getting my brain turned on, watching there. And Sherman, hey, Cherry, nice to see you this morning. Cameron, down there wanting to know if there's any tornado weather coming anytime soon. I think we are avoiding that for a little while longer, thankfully. And some folks talking about Melissa. Absolutely. A fierce system we'll look more at here in a couple of minutes as that continues to be a very strong, every Category 5 storm is strong, but this one's stronger than even the entry level, which is devastating and catastrophic, unfortunately. Outside in Batesville, showing up again, kind of a misty look. You could run into a couple patches of fog from time to time out there in Batesville. We're looking 59 degrees in that current temperature at this instant and time as we look back there toward the city. And then all of our cameras there and around Columbus looking up with a kind of a murkiness, but that humidity coming in 94%. You can see there, I'm kind of mousing over that. So yeah, we do have some stickiness out there, but it looks like the visibility is okay as I concentrate on that camera, kind of looking back westbound here. Traffic up and moving, everybody getting out and about, ready for work and school this morning. Good morning to you down there in Lowndes County. Luckily, it looks like traffic is in good shape and no fog issues there as well. Of course, watching the tropics, we talked about this a minute ago. Melissa, we're in super close on the eye of this storm. I mean, just as well defined, as healthy, unfortunately, as a tropical system can be. This one is just rough. You know, and one thing that it has done, we talked a lot about last night, it has made that turn northward there. I'm going to make this a 12-hour loop here for a moment and widen it just a little bit. And you can kind of 12 hours ago would take us back to about 6 p.m. last night when it hadn't really made that trip northward as well. As this restarts here for a minute, you kind of see largely stalled at that time, but then overnight has started picking up as expected, heading more directly northward there. And we're really not that far from it making landfall of that eye wall, the part of the eye there in the western part of Jamaica. So I know a lot of interest there, a lot of prayers for those folks as this is going to be a devastating storm between likely mudslides, significant power outages, catastrophic flash flooding, just a lot of issues there, a lot of terrain there that's going to collect this water with more than 2 feet of that falling in some spots. Just a very scary situation. So again, looking at specifically with Melissa there, 175 mile per hour winds on it as of its latest update. Just kind of a scary situation. 901, by the way, on the pressure there is very low. And so just a sign of just how impressive this system, unfortunately, is as it moves there into Jamaica. So let's move forward on this, show where it's going from here. Again, you can see by 1 p.m. we show the center of that over top the western part of Jamaica there. Make sure we can kind of get all that on the screen at the same time, and then working its way toward Cuba as we go towards 6 to 7 to 8 o'clock for tonight. By 1 o'clock in the morning, as you can see there, close to Cuba, weakens over top of all that terrain there to a Category 2, still strong Category 2 storm there, moving toward the Bahamas. So for interests in the Bahamas, obviously some major impacts there. And then maintaining Category 2 strength all the way through Thursday, weakening by Friday, eventually to a Category 1 hurricane, then eventually still even a hurricane, as you can see, all the way to Saturday. But what you will note, looking at the East Coast of the United States here, this is not going to be an impact along the East Coast for the center of the system. Obviously, waves, all the issues with that. We'll look at that, some of those impacts in more detail coming up here in a couple minutes. But Melissa, certainly strongest hurricane of this season. Very rarely do they get as strong as this. A lot of times we go multiple seasons before that is the case. Now, as far as any travel impacts at this point, we had some delays down for Orlando and locations there along the eastern seaboard related to this system that brought actually a tornado down there to the Florida Panhandle. I think we showed you that tornado last night on Mississippi Live Weather. If you missed that, we'll probably try to have that for you coming up here a little bit later on, probably during our 7 a.m. broadcast to show you some of the damage from that. Our friends at Panhandle Weather capturing that, but no delays there. And again, appreciate the good folks at Cyber Shield Technology Solutions for sponsoring our travel delays there. They do a lot of technical stuff. You know, it wouldn't be a bad idea to kind of check out that QR code. They protect systems to make sure people don't hack And you know, obviously that's an important thing as cybersecurity becomes more and more important. But again, appreciate them for sponsoring us here, Mississippi Live Weather. No airport delays out there, though you can see the rainfall back to the north and west. And on our futurecast, some of that sliding toward us. You can see 9 a.m. still largely west of the Mississippi River. I'm going to switch to this side here so we can show this low pressure center kind of working toward us, bringing some of the rainfall a little closer. Still lighter variety stuff showing up there from Benton County back toward Lafayette County by around noontime. Let's bring it in even closer here for a moment as this kind of moves toward us. The rainfall continuing to spread in. More moderate rainfall showing up there toward Helena, back toward Greenville by around 2:30. Listen, this is not heavy. This is at most moderate rainfall. It's more than nuisance rainfall, but this is also not drought-busting rainfall either. And so as it continues to spread in by around 3 to 4 o'clock, maybe a couple rumbles down here toward Hollandales and Greendale and back in the direction there of Cleveland and Belzona. We'll look a little closer at that here in just a moment. And then as we look towards 7 to 8 o'clock, again, those showers gradually moving in, but not expecting anything overly strong. So high temperatures today. Typically, we should be around the low 70s. Instead, we're upper 60s to mid 60s. So off by about 8 degrees or so because of the cloud cover and the rainfall kind of keeps those temperatures a little cooler. Still 71 showing up there at Belzona, 70 for Greenwood, 71 for Kosciuszko, but only 67 for Houston, 66 in Tupelo, 67 for Amory, and low 60s back out there toward Iuka and Red Bay. Before we go too much further, I jumped ahead on this. We got to check out Mississippi Live Weather Radar and just kind of show you that out there at this point, we don't really have much in the way of precipitation. We do have one flood advisory out there into Oklahoma, kind of related to this next system there. But I promised we'd show the severe weather risk. So that's actually the main reason I'm on this here, to show you that there is a limited severe weather risk, level 1 severe weather risk down there into southern Arkansas, Louisiana, and Texas related to this. I don't think it's much of an impact for us. Obviously, you can see that risk by Wednesday does go away. So let's go back here and again talk about that forecast as we look toward your Wednesday. And it's the morning that things start to feel just a little bit cooler there. So as we kind of advance things here, looking at Futurecast, rain chances still fairly widespread. Yeah, maybe a rumble with this, something I can't rule out. You'll note, though, as we go a little bit wider, that things are slightly heavier, more likely to have some stronger storms down here in southern Arkansas, northern Louisiana, back toward Jackson, Crystal Springs. So we're not that far removed for some rumbles associated with this. And I still think this does depict, kind of looking at this output here at midnight, I think there will be some rumbles. But I think these are what we call elevated storms, meaning that they don't tap into surface parcels. All that to say, no tornado threat, right? And difficult for them to punch strong winds down to the surface. So some rumbles from time to time, somewhat loud related to these as they go throughout the overnight hours. And then moderate rainfall showing up from Bolivar back out here toward Amory and back toward Jasper as we progress toward 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock in the morning for early Wednesday. Yeah, we do have, obviously, by this time tomorrow morning, and I'll be here again tomorrow morning, some showers out there that we are tracking, mainly moderate rainfall kind of at most there. And then low temperatures, as you'll note, in the 40s. Now, it'll depend on how quickly you kind of clear out. If we clear out a little earlier, we might actually be a little cooler for some spots. I think we have enough clouds that it kind of limits that drop still. I mean, 43, Water Valley, 44, Bruce. You walk out not thinking about that tomorrow morning, it's chilly. And so just for the kids in there making lots of noise, getting ready for school, tomorrow morning is going to be in the 40s. You're going to want long sleeves. Hopefully they'll listen to me. Thank God you guys listen to me. Anyway, had 48 there, Belzona and Cleveland, your beginning temperatures on your Wednesday there. Most of the showers out of here by the early part of the morning. It's just lighter variety stuff lingering behind this as we progress into your Wednesdays. That same low pressure center still kind of overhead, as you can see here, wrapping around some lighter to maybe moderate rainfall at most as we progress throughout your Wednesday. Here's noontime. Here's in the Wednesday, a midday and afternoon. So still around maybe a 30 to 40% chance, but of lighter variety showers during the daytime period on your Wednesday. And until we can get this system out of here, we kind of keep somewhat cooler temperatures around. As you can see, we're right below the center of this system, continuing to kind of work its way eastward as we progress toward Wednesday and through the day. So rainfall totals next 3 days, around 3/4 of an inch on the average. Some spots a little less than that here. think this graphic here might be looping on me. Let's make sure that's on the latest time period there, as it's kind of going back and forth on that. But it shows that the rainfall transitioning out of here when you go beyond what we have now and eventually into the latter part of this week. So temperatures, we're looking for your Wednesday at around 56. That's all we really manage for a high temperature in Greenwood, Grenada, about 55. 56 Houston and Amory and Tupelo. This is below the low 70s we expect for this time of year, and obviously nowhere near the record we have on the books there, 89. One of the things Gabe and I were talking about last night, we're done with the 80s. I don't know we're completely done with the 80s, but certainly we are transitioning to something that's anything but. As we look at that 7-day forecast there, again, 60% coverage of rainfall today. We're 40% by Wednesday, 56 all we manage for highs by Wednesday. And yes, these low temperatures are 40s for Wednesday. For Thursday, Mrs. Lawpon better not look at Friday morning. I don't think she's ready. I don't know if any of us are ready for 30s yet. But you know what? It's Halloween, and we go deeper into the burr months as we change over to November by your Saturday and Sunday. So this upcoming weekend, rather cool for some of those mornings. You could argue crisp for the Sweet Potato Festival out there in Vardaman to begin the day. But I mean, a little bit of sunshine later on, certainly making a difference as far as that is concerned. We appreciate you for joining us this morning on Mississippi Live. Well, I'm going to double check some of our comments here. Good morning in New Albany, Carol and Justin there. Glad to see you. Glad to be back home. Good morning there, Kathy in Millport and all the folks out there. Crazy seeing Matt with facial hair. You know, we're going to do the No Shave November, and I already hate it. But my wife's father is a prostate cancer survivor, so I decided to get a running start on No Shave November. I don't know if we'll do it again next year, but this year, of course, wanting to raise awareness there about prostate cancer. We do wear a lot of pink during October for good reason, for breast cancer awareness. Again, my wife's mother suffered from breast cancer, and is a survivor of breast cancer. So that's why, of course, trying to draw awareness to both of those this time of year. But yeah, this is, I think, hardest for the kids to get used to. We'll say it's a temporary thing. It probably isn't a forever thing. Of course, our next live broadcast come up here at 6. So I guess we're at 7 a.m. Man, got to get my brain turned on. That's only 7 minutes from now. I'm going to re-rack some things. We're going to look in more detail related to Melissa and how it's evolving here from the Room to Room Weather Center. And again, thank you to everybody for supporting us here on Mississippi Live Weather and downloading the apps. If you're watching us just on Facebook, that app is probably the easiest way to pull us up. We will see you, of course, live at 7 a.m. here for Mississippi Live Weather.
I don't remember how it started.
Go to that.
Our back and forth. It always came back.
Dad!
You probably don't remember what you told me.
That was perfect.
But I heard every word.